I'm feeling a bit vulnerable with this video. I'm a bit hesitant about sharing this one.
And one of the things that I tell people who are artistically oriented, let's say, so they're in the entrepreneurial category, is it's virtually impossible for you to monetize your product. That's the first thing you have to understand. It's really unbelievably difficult to produce something creative and then monetize it. And even worse, artists are in particularly dire position because as a visual artist, for example, you're not only competing with all the visual artists that now exist, and there's plenty of them, but you're also competing with all the dead artists who already have an established reputation and a body of work that's still being exchanged in the marketplace. Yeah. Brutally difficult.
Yeah. To say that being a creative entrepreneur is a struggle would be an understatement. So I suppose hearing from somebody like Jordan Peterson that it's one of the most difficult things that you can do, there's a small measure of comfort in that, I guess. But in a lot of ways, that's exactly what this channel is all about. And one of the reasons that I've been debating and hesitant to share this with you guys is that we don't like to complain about money. We don't like to brag about money. We don't like to talk about personal finances. So I don't know if you'll ever hear us talk about this again. And as tempting as it would be for me to wait to talk about where I'm at until I've made it, that's not really our story. And that's not really the story of this channel. But in order for this channel to be what I want it to be for you guys, I feel like I need to be open, honest, and transparent with where we're at. Because figuring it out is really, really hard some days. And I've told you lots of times before that we have failed a lot. And as a result, there's been many, many times that we've been tempted to just give up and go a more traditional route. And the truth is,
artists are unbelievably productive economically, but it's very, very hard for them to monetize their productivity. So even though what they produce can be of incalculable value, it's very difficult for them to get any of the economic value that they're produced actually directed towards them.
I'm just really struggling with whether I should tell you this or not. I guess here it is. I have never made more than $10,000 a year in my life. There it is. Well, how's that even possible? Well, that's not really what this video is about, but if you take into consideration factors like multi-generational living and some savings and things like that, we're probably living on $30,000 to $40,000 a year. And I'll put a link to a video that we did make that talks a little bit about how we do that. But I'm not complaining. That's not the point of this video either. The point is that I know what it's like to struggle. I haven't made it yet. And there's a part of me that wants to keep this a secret because it's kind of embarrassing. And I would be much easier to talk about this at a time when I've made it already and I'm making lots of money and I can say, well, way back in the day, I knew what it was to struggle. But I know what it's like to struggle right now. And there's a part of me that's afraid of what people will think if this information gets out there. But I also want to be held accountable because I don't want to stay here. And I can see where it probably doesn't matter much to you guys how much I make. What's the big deal? But by making this video, I'm holding myself accountable. I'm gonna change that. We're gonna beat this. Together, we're gonna figure this out. And in the future, when somebody says, you don't understand, things have been given to you, I can point back to this video and say, no, 10 years plus, I tried really, really hard and nothing worked. But then everything changed. And I do have a plan to make sure things change. But first, I need to set up a video shoot, so I'll be right back.
It's a high-risk, high-return strategy. But a small proportion of creative people succeed spectacularly. Well, the overwhelming probability is that you will fail. It's like a lottery in some sense.
you're probably going to lose. But if you don't lose, you could win big.